Hello, my name is Grant and you are watching Running to Redline, and today we're going to be doing an oil cooler install on the Subaru BRZ. This is for the 2013 all the way up to the 2021. This is the Perrin oil cooler, and basically the entire purpose of it is to get our oil temperatures down, mainly for track use. And it's a pretty simple install. The only big thing we're doing really is taking the bumper off, but once that's off, the rest of it's really simple, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Alright, so kicking things off, at the top of the bumper, there's going to be a bunch of 10mm screws and some pop tabs that hold on this plastic guard. As you can see, I'm getting a pop tab. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver for this right here. But after you pop it up, they'll pretty much just pull right out, and that is what they look like. After this, you're going to be able to finish getting the rest of the screws. And by the time you're done doing that, you should be ready to pull the guard off like so. After this, we're going to be moving down to the side of the car and pulling out the side blinker indicators. This is not really that hard. You just pull on them with a good bit of force and then they'll pop out. Twist them off to reveal the light bulb, and you're just going to kind of leave that hanging there as we now get the 3 pop tabs on the back of the bumper with our flathead screwdriver. And there's actually a 4th up here where you can see my screwdriver now. This one's a bit of a pain, so have some patience with it, but also remember that there's a 5th one actually behind it right there that I did not notice at first. But once all of these are out, you're going to be free to release the top of your bumper and get all of those pop tabs out. You can push the bulb through so that we can eventually get the bumper down and unplug the wires. Following this, you're going to go down to the bottom of the bumper after doing this on the other side, and there's going to be a total of 9 pop tabs. Once again, these are kind of a bit of a pain. I don't know why Subaru used them, so just be aware of that and be patient getting them out. But after you get all 9 of them, there should be a total of 5 up front, and then I think 2 on each side. After that, the bumper should be able to come off, but as you can see here, I forgot one and had to go back underneath and get rid of that. But after I did, you could take the bumper off, and you just have to unplug your daytime running light and your fog light on each side so that the bumper can fully come off. I think they're attached with one harness though, so it shouldn't be horrible. Take the foam piece out, place it on the side, remembering the orientation of it so that it goes back on properly later. And now we're going to go top side and remove our oil filter. You can throw this out because Perrin actually includes a new Subaru oil filter. So if you want to keep it for an oil change, you can do that. Or I just toss mine and use the one that they included. So that was kind of a nice thing to have with the kit. Following that, we're going to take the spacer plate and rub some motor oil on the bottom of it to create a good seal and place it onto our oil filter. And this will be kind of tentative right now. It's not going to be tightened down, so don't worry too much about orientation of it at the moment. Following that, we're going to do the exact same thing with the thermostatic sandwich plate, putting oil on the bottom to create a good seal. And now what's going to happen is you're going to place it on top of that spacer with the 2 hose ports facing between the oil filler neck and the air filter. That, once again, is going to be tentative. Don't worry too much about the position now because the hoses are going to have to fit into it properly and it'll move around a bit. Take the threaded adapter, push it on through, and this should kind of square up everything. Don't tighten it too much though because we want room to move it back and forth as we put the hoses. As you can see, it can wiggle a little bit right there, so I'm only going to tighten it about that much. Following this, I did a little bit of this off camera, but you're going to take the 2 hoses with the longer one attaching to the right side of the sandwich plate and eventually reaching over to the left side of the oil cooler up front. They're going to go behind the crash beam, below the filler neck, and then above the air intake. You're going to then mount your flanges onto the bottom of your oil cooler. It's just 4 screws. This is pretty simple. Get it about where you want it. Remove the yellow filler caps, and this is going to allow us access to the oil cooler's threads, which we're going to be placing some motor oil on to once again create a good seal. You also should place it on the ends of the hoses as you see me doing here as you go, and then try to fit the hoses on. This once again takes a bit of patience, bit of time. They're not going to fit perfectly right away. You're going to have to move things around a little bit, maybe adjust your hoses slightly to get them where you want to go. But eventually, I put the longer hose out behind of the shorter hose, which is important because it keeps it behind the crash beam in the event of a crash. Take an adjustable wrench and tighten these down, but you're going to want them really tight, about as tight as you reasonably can get them, because obviously we're working with our engine oil here, and if you have that spilling all over the place, that's going to create some problems. Try and push the cooler back behind the crash beam. This is a little bit tight, and you might have to screw with your hoses again, but do what you can and work it into position until it's ready. Following that, we're going to take our spacer and screw that attach to the flanges, open up this bottom part of the bumper here. There's a little skid plate that you have to kind of pull down, and this washer and screw will go into the positions of 2 of the pop tabs that you pulled out when you were removing the bumper. Thread that screw on through. You could see it coming through the flange now. And then you're just going to do the other side, and this will kind of tighten the oil cooler down into place. After this, as you can see, I clean up my hoses a little bit, once again keeping them behind the crash beam, in front of the washer fluid reservoir, but then up underneath the filler neck, eventually attaching to the sandwich plate. I took some zip ties and put them together to kind of keep my hoses a little bit more organized, then drilled a hole through this back part here, put 2 zip ties together to create a longer one, and attached this part of the hose to that beam using another zip tie to once again keep it behind that crash beam, because if you ever get in a front end accident, you do not want oil leaking everywhere, leading to your engine being destroyed. So ideally you want to keep these hoses behind that crash beam so they're nice and protected in the event of a crash. Then just cut up the zip ties, organize them a little bit. I put a few extra on. Then, as you can see, we reinstalled the oil filter on top of the sandwich plate after tightening it down a good amount. And now all we have to do is prime the oil system and put in some more oil. So you're going to have your foot all the way down on the throttle, 100%. You're going to crank the key for 5 seconds. The car's not going to start, but it will turn over. Then wait 10 seconds, do it one more time. Wait 10 seconds, now the oil system's primed, and start the car. Let it run for about 5 minutes. Turn it off, add your extra quart of oil, and then when you're done doing that, the oil will be filled and it'll now be circulated through the system properly. And the reason we prime it is to circulate oil into the cooler, because if you have air, you lose oil pressure, and that's obviously a problem. But once that's all said and done, run the car for about 10 minutes, being sure to check for leaks every 5 minutes. And just keep a really close eye on it. And if you don't have any leaks, you should be good to go. Now, Perrin also says for the first 500 miles, you should be checking it for leaks, which is true. Check it on both sides of the hoses. Look for any oil leaks. And if you do have any, just make sure you tighten those threadings down a little bit more. But if you don't after 500 miles, you should be fully good to go.